Good evening, everyone. This is Wade Franson. I'm here in the studio recording a sneak peek of Created in the Image of God with Timothy Reigle, who has written a book, Men of Grit, a 40-day challenge to renew your faith, restore your masculinity, and re-energize your family. Welcome to the studio, Timothy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Well, we've talked a little bit about this topic, and we're very excited to be able to share this with the audience because we live in a world that needs strong men, but doesn't seem to want them, doesn't seem to like them very much. And this has led to a number of problems. Your book tackles this conundrum head on, in that it shows both the dark side of an upside down society with men who are often trapped in addictions because of their powerlessness, and those addictions sap their masculine energy. And the only validation that would help with this is that which God can give by us fulfilling our God-given role. He created us male and female, and fulfilling that role and the purpose for which God created us is the answer. You dive into this in your book. Can you just unpack that for us here in the sneak peek a little bit?
Sure. Like you say, many men are lost. They're stuck in weakness and complacency. They're looking for a way out. They know that God gave them this inner strength. They just don't know where to find it. Our world, our society, and even our church hasn't given them the tools to live out their God-given masculinity that God created them to be. And so we created this book to challenge men to get up off the couch, to reject that comfort and complacency, to put on the full armor of God and engage in the fight to become the strong men that they need to be, the strong husbands, the strong fathers, and the strong leaders that God called us to be.
Well, and admittedly, we've had a transformation in society where women, perhaps too much in the shadow, needed to be empowered. But everywhere we look, we see the result of multiple generations now of an emphasis on girl power and elevating women and women's total autonomy and freedom of choice over their own body, where, again, the laws of God are not looked at or taken into consideration in this society. And this is why I use that phrase upside down world. So even in our schools, it seems like testosterone isn't even allowed in the school system. The methods of education don't accommodate the differences, it seems, in the masculine and the feminine gender. Do you address any of that in your book? And will we talk about that on the show?
Absolutely, we do. We'll talk about all that and how society and so many areas of life have diminished and put a war on men. And we'll give men the tools to become the godly, strong men of grit that they need to be. And we look at it from men need to be men. It's okay to be men. Like you said, male and female, God created them. God created men to be the head of the household, like Christ is the head of the church. And we want to emulate Christ. Christ wasn't a weak man. Christ was a man's man. He was tough. He was rugged. He was bold. He was confident, and he was courageous. And so in the book,
he was a carpenter by trade, right? Which was not an easy profession back then.
Absolutely. So we teach men how to embrace their God-given biblical masculinity. What the world says masculinity is not what the Bible says masculinity is. So in this book, we deep dive into what those principles are. We call them the principles of a man of grit. And we examined the scriptures and came up with this idea of what a strong man of God is. And so each day of the book espouses one of those principles of man of grit and what the Bible says it means to be a man.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so excited about this. Can't wait until 11/26. It's going to be a wonderful presentation. I can't wait. And everybody listening into this sneak peek, don't miss it. We'll see you there.